So OpenAI has finally released ChatGPT Voice, and for a lot of people, they're saying that this is the Jarvis moment for AI. Instead of just talking to the AI or talking to the app, you can actually have it do things for you while you're speaking to it. So I've been testing it pretty extensively, and I'm here to let you know if it's worth the hype or if it's not quite there yet. Historically, if you wanted to work with any software or work with a computer in general or wanted to get something done, or let's say you find an email about a customer, you'd have to open the CRM, you'd have to find who the customer was, export data, maybe open some spreadsheets, maybe clean and format things, create reports, open emails, all this to eventually just send a simple email. That has changed now that voice is becoming a much bigger factor with AI and how you talk to your agent. I can ask AI in real time voice mode to get the customer report, and it's going to find out on its own the current customer data, the standard report format, and it's going to email when it's finished, right? So the agent now, just through voice alone, can understand outcomes, it can route work to different threads, it can coordinate work, it can ask questions. So it can go in your CRM, it can go in your spreadsheet, and it can go in your emails, and it can do all that for you. And it does it in a way that's natural for humans. It just talks. We don't have to sit there clicking around on dashboards and constantly context switching. You can talk to it just like you do to a fellow human being for that matter. And how to make it work is really simple. You just give it the goal and the context. The voice mode is going to be like your chief of staff. It's going to be your orchestrator. It's going to understand your goals. And if it doesn't understand them, you can just talk it out and clarify it. It can then route work to different threads. And I'm talking like really specific threads. This wasn't possible in voice mode in the past. Whenever you spoke to voice mode in the past, it was like a completely new conversation every time. That is not the case anymore. It can track status, it can synthesize results, and then ultimately it can give you a synthesized answer from those particular threads. Now, instead of just talking more about it, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So all we're going to do is we're going to hit new chat, and then we're going to click this little button right here that says start new voice chat. And then once we click that, it's going to take a little bit to load, and then boom, that's a sign that voice chat is there. Hey, how you doing there? Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you clearly. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Can you find a thread called Peerless Content YouTube Growth? Let me know when you find it. And when you do, I want you to give me 3 suggestions in that thread. So I want you to ask that thread and the agent in that thread for 3 suggestions on why it's better to work with voice mode when working with AI agents.
I've found the task list for that thread and I'm checking it now.
So I've now clicked into this thread and you can see right now in voice mode right there. So like I said, it's an orchestrator. You don't want the voice thread itself to do the actual work. You want it to delegate to a thread that you're already working in. And there you have it, right there. Even if we're in another thread right now, are you able to see what was written in that thread?
Just from here.
What is the last 3 things that it said?
I'll check the last 3 items. The latest 3 are capture ideas before they disappear, redirect the agent faster through natural conversation, and manage agents hands free while staying focused on other work.
Okay, thank you. That'll be all. We can end voice mode right now. Thank you. And there you have it. So look, on the surface, this obviously seems very cool and it kind of starts to feel like you have your own personal Jarvis. But there are some issues to take into account. The first one is it's kind of slow still. Yes, you can talk to it in real time, but to be able to find a thread that you're talking about and then write things in there, it takes quite a bit of time. And for me personally, I find it faster just to click the thread and then actually use with something like Wispr Flow to say what I want to say. The second thing is that it doesn't always even grab the correct thread. So that's obviously an issue too. Again, it's a big time suck. And then the third one is about 15% of the time to 20% of the time, all of a sudden it will just start writing stuff in its own personal thread that we're having the voice conversation in. So even though it could be working for a while in the correct thread, all of a sudden it'll switch to its personal thread that it's working on. So here's kind of an idea of how I'm thinking about it right now. So when do you use voice mode and when do you just want to go back to something like a Wispr Flow and then reading the text? Look, for starters, the reality is this. Reading text is still going to be a lot faster than having to hear text. That's just a fact. So if you're looking to maximize productivity and if you're at your desk anyway, I would probably use something like a dictation tool. In this case, I use Wispr Flow, but there's a bunch of open source ones that are free. And I'll just read the text and I'll be clicking between the threads. I'll use something like Herder so I can see different conversations going on at the same time. But ultimately, again, you can read the responses faster. You can dictate the full task so you can still use voice mode because I do agree it's been a long time since I've really typed something out. I use voice for almost everything. And then you're in control of changing threads and tabs. So maximizing productivity, that's probably the way you still want to go. Now, here's where voice mode really starts to shine. Well, if you're out and about and you're not at your computer and you want to brainstorm ideas or even kick off some work, you could absolutely could and should use voice mode. If you want to just brainstorm an idea like you're brainstorming with your friend, voice mode is fantastic for that. It's really great and really iterative. Or just when you're away from your desk in general, or talking through ambiguity. Again, those are times when voice mode really shines. And the cool thing is, if you do talk through an idea, you can either have it create a markdown or a PDF or something, or put it in your repo and it's right there. That wasn't possible before. And for that reason alone, it is a really, really cool update. So ultimately, use voice to discover the work, use dictation to execute it fast. The total verdict, it is a great tool. It is not worth the hype as much as people are hyping it up on X or anything like that. It does have real use cases, but again, if you're somebody who's already at your desk quite a bit, it's going to be faster to stick with Wispr Flow. It's going to be faster to read text and then click between the different context channels yourself. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, the main purpose that I'm doing these videos is also just to cut through the hype, because every single time something new comes out, it seems like just the greatest thing in the world. And the reality is 90% of the time, it's somewhat good, but not necessarily enough to change your entire workflow. So hopefully this helped. Like and subscribe. Any questions you have, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.